introduction. I will be back here, and I will be back with another.
Yeah, we'll lick our wounds. We'll get over this. We'll be fired up for next year.
Garoppolo has time, stands in, going deep, going for it all, and it's caught for the touchdown! On fourth down, Deebo Samuel for 6. Garoppolo's got all day. He's going to launch it deep down the field, going for it all, and getting it! Emmanuel Sanders, not touched, still on his feet, inside the 10, and he scores! 75-yard bomb from Jimmy Garoppolo to Emmanuel Sanders. Wilson, pressure off the edge, releases it, and it is intercepted by Greenlaw. Trey Greenlaw now on the return as he's still on his feet with blockers in front. Trey Greenlaw down the sideline. Can you believe this?
Looks like football, baby.
Pass is caught. Kittle breaks one tackle. Another. Wow, what a touchdown for George Kittle. Goff throws and it's intercepted. It's picked off by Warner. Fred Warner for the touchdown. Jeff Wilson has come in at running back. Garoppolo's throw is caught by Jeff Wilson. He's going to score a touchdown for the 49ers.
And the pass is going to be picked off by Bosa. Nick Bosa. Can't bring him down till he gets to the 8-yard line. Wow.
Now Evans in the slot. Winston picked off. It is Richard Sherman, who did not have an interception last year, and he returns it all the way for a 49ers touchdown, 32-yard.
Garoppolo fires. It is caught. Still on his feet is Kittle with a big play. And the stiff arm. George Kittle. Flags flying. He's down to the 30. What a run by George Kittle. Taking on everybody.
But the question is, are you ready, motherfucker? Yes, you. Are you ready to strap your fucking boots together and get it together for the difficult part of this fucking season? I mean, I don't think anybody saw us losing to the Dolphins. And I gotta be honest, I came in here and I was ready to talk really bad about this team. I was gonna say a lot of shitty things, and I'm sure I'll get to that. But right now, I feel I need to be positive. We're gonna lift you up, gold-blooded cunts. We're gonna show you the way here tonight. This is the Gold Blooded Podcast, and I am Daddy. We are here with Bob and our friend Michael Curran in Maine. Everyone wish him a happy birthday today as we record. Happy birthday, Michael Curran. Everyone else say hello. That's you, Rob. You're everyone else.
My first piece of advice is going to be don't strap your boots together. It's very hard to do anything with your boots strapped together. Makes many things in life very difficult if your boots are strapped together.
Just strap it on. Just get it together is what I'm saying. Just get the boots. Get them strapped and ready.
I'm going to dive right into the fun because I don't know if we have a long enough episode to get to all this.
Oh, fucking great. All right, well, I'm going to tell you this. Before you I got to give the listeners at least a disclaimer. We are going to have an announcement about PP Fest 2020, the Piss Fest 2020. We're going to get to that in a little bit.
Ooh, cliffhanger. We might save it for the second episode to make people download.
Right. Yeah, we could do that.
Get maybe half the story in this one.
Yeah, well, maybe. Well, but yeah, okay.
A little teaser.
We're making progress on PP Party 2020. With that said, after this loss, I was really down in the dumps. It was my birthday weekend. I dropped an air conditioner on myself from like 6 feet up and almost died. So I was really bummed. So I just hid from the NFL world. So some of this is going to be news to me as it unfolds. So this will be fun to get my, what do you call it? My
I don't know where you're going.
It's like my live opinion. So this is all going to be news to me. The first time I'm hearing this stuff. So
I figured you weren't doing well when you texted us at 3:40 in the morning, Monday morning, to let us know you weren't doing well.
yeah, I was pacing around my house.
I was like, sorry, man, I was busy sleeping.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't expect a response, but I didn't have any.
3:39 a.m.
I just had to get it off my chest.
Karen, you want to read it you want to have it prepared to read?
I'll read it.
I'll talk about the game, and you have it ready for after that. I'll talk about all the things that led to that, and then you read it. How's that sound?
Sure. Yes.
That gives you time to track it down.
Yes.
All right, we'll start with K'Wan Williams. He was officially put on short-term IR with a knee sprain. I think that's a much bigger hit to the team than anyone realized. I think he might be the best or in the top 5 nickelbacks in the league, and he flies under the radar most of the time. Jimmy G started but was pulled at halftime. We all know that story. Raheem Mostert started and looked great to me. Didn't look like he was slowed down at all.
No, he looked great to me, too.
Akella Witherspoon did not start. He apparently was not well enough to start, but was well enough to come in relief and played over 40 snaps. So a lot of talk about Akella Witherspoon this week, and we'll get into that. Dre Greenlaw was a full go this week. Emmanuel Mosley was still out, still in the concussion protocol, which is kind of scary once they missed 2 games. Shanahan did say this week that he saw a specialist, and things are looking good for next week. So they got some good news from the specialist. We opened the practice window for wide receiver Richie James. He did not play this week, but he is able to practice with the team again, coming off of the short-term IR. Before the game, we promoted defensive lineman Alex Barrett to the active roster from the practice squad. We restored cornerback Tim Harris Jr. to the practice squad.
Well, he could go back to wherever the fuck he came from.
I'm not sure you're talking about the right guy, but
Oh.
Tim Harris Jr. was on the practice squad injured reserve list, and he's now back on the practice squad.
I'm talking about 48.
Yeah, not Tim Harris.
Okay.
We signed defensive lineman Josiah Coatney and defensive lineman Adam Schuler to the practice squad. Dante Johnson did not play. He is still dealing with the groin injury that he played through versus Philadelphia. Deebo Samuel played, but he didn't practice all week because he had some symptoms that were similar to COVID. And with the league protocol, he's not allowed to be around the team until he gets 2 negative tests after showing symptoms. He did get those tests, and he was cleared to play, but he still hasn't practiced with the team. The only practices he got were those couple before the Philly game since last year.
Oh, wow.
So that explains why you didn't see a lot of him.
Okay.
We activated cornerback Jamar Taylor. We also activated cornerback Brian Allen. That's your boy.
Not my boy.
And wide receiver Kevin White from the team's practice squad.
I got a lot of problems with him. We're going to get to him.
Kevin White?
No, 48.
Oh, yeah, okay. I think we're probably going to spend most of the episode on him.
No, it's going to be quick because how I want to handle him is like a school shooter. I don't want to mention his name too much. I don't want to give him too much fucking press. Fuck that guy.
Fair enough.
Fucking guy.
To coincide with activating wide receiver Kevin White from the practice squad, Dante Pettis was a healthy scratch.
Good.
So the team opted to activate Kevin White from the practice squad rather than have Dante Pettis active. Big news at quarterback 2, CJ Beathard was dressed as quarterback 2 this week.
And played again.
Absolutely. Now, I don't know if anybody caught Shanahan's presser.
I did not.
Shanahan made it sound like he kind of wanted Beathard all along. That's me reading between the lines.
Like, what do you mean? Like Jimmy G wasn't ready, maybe?
No, I mean like he wanted Beathard to be the number 2, not Mullins.
I gotcha.
He said, I forget how he worded it, but he basically made it out like, Beathard was great when he was in for us, and then when he was replaced, Mullins balled out,
right?
As we all remember.
Yeah.
And then when Beathard never got another opportunity after that because Mullins balled out.
Right.
So he didn't really lose the job. Nick just took over and played well. So it kind of felt like he always thought Beathard had the better tools, but he couldn't take it away from Nick because Nick balled out.
Okay.
That's the vibe I got in reading between the lines a little bit.
Okay. I trust your vibe.
Richard Sherman did not play again. I did hear he had some sort of setback. They're very vague about it. They were hoping to do something different this week so that he could maybe play this week. It didn't sound good. And when Shanahan was pressed about it, he said, I don't know, some sort of shots, but I don't know what. So I don't know if there was cortisone involved. I have no idea. It sounded very sketchy.
Doesn't sound good.
This one is going to be news to you. Quan Alexander is a possible high ankle sprain. Shanahan announced that after the game and the next morning, but he hadn't been seen yet, so they don't know what severity it was or what it was. All he said was that the doctors were kind of like, hold off, it's not a definite IR situation just yet.
Okay.
So I haven't got the news on that. Usually we get these updates tomorrow on Wednesday.
Okay, well, you could text me at 3:30 a.m. with that.
DJ Jones took a shot to the eye. He came out of the game, but he was good to go afterwards, so he's fine. He's a full go. And then today we claimed cornerback Parnell Motley.
I like the
What
name
a great
Parnell.
name. Oh, the whole thing's great. Motley. The
If
whole thing.
I do have to say, if I had a child, I would consider Parnell. Like it'd be Parnell Ianuch. I like that.
Parnell Motley's a good one. He comes out to Motley Crue.
Yeah, he's got it. Okay.
Claimed him off of waivers from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Okay.
And that's all I got.
Oh, great. Yeah, that's fucking great. Yeah.
You want to get right into? I mean, we might as well get right to the
Well,
game.
do you have my text?
I do have your text.
My 3:30 a.m. text.
3:39, I think it was, right?
3:39.
How's that for memory?
And I mean, Rob, do you typically get texts from from Joe like this? Like,
when you say like
days
this, do you mean time of day
anything.
or
And you know what? You're right. I should specify because this is very
or
important.
in tone?
Usually when it's angry outbursts, I feel like I get them towards around dinner time. But texts like the one that we received, do you get them around in like nighttime?
Middle of the night.
No. Depressing
them.
texts like that are usually on Sundays after a loss, or maybe Monday after a loss, but not at 3:39 a.m. They're usually like later in the evening on a Sunday or sometime Monday morning.
I wish I had an example.
Yeah, this was in between.
I've received text like this at 2-3 o'clock in the morning before, and like you said, typically sleeping like any normal human.
Yeah. Typical signs of a drug user.
And so
depressing texts at 3:30 in the morning is not usually someone that's not using substances. Currently,
something.
I know you're a little younger than us,
Going
but
through
that's
something.
usually a
No.
substance abuse red flag.
This is not what I expected.
This is not an intervention. I'm just stating facts.
I'm not stopping.
I'm just stating facts.
When I woke up and I saw this text, I woke up, I was a little bit in a blur. I thought the text was just directly to me. And it did very much surprise me when I opened it up and it was a group chat.
That would have been so fucked up.
I'll tell you
I
this.
knew.
Once you read it, I have something to say too.
And, all right, so I'll get into it. So he says, after letting this loss really sink, we are absolutely fucked.
Capital
Straight
fucked.
up. Yes, all caps. And obviously, I read that in Joe's voice. And it made it even better. Straight up blew our chance versus the Chiefs, and now the process starts over again. I fucking hate this situation. I am not well. With no comma at the end before I am not well. He just put it out there. I am not well.
Yeah.
And it's quite a text because I wanted to respond to it, but I remember thinking, this needs to be saved for the podcast.
There's not many people that can text me, I'm not well, and I just go on with my day. And it's pretty much, there's like 3 people, and it's only, if it wasn't about the 49ers and he said that, I'd probably check in on him.
For sure.
Like if he was like fighting with his wife and was like, I'm not doing well, I'd probably be like, I better check on him.
Exactly.
But if it's him with the 49ers and I got a couple other friends with certain scenarios where I just go, yeah, okay.
Right.
Tomorrow you'll be fine.
You're right. I just wanted everybody to know that I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning and I had just the burden of a lifetime. I felt like there was just the weight of the world was on my shoulders, and I was pacing. I was hitting the rig. I was petting a cat. I was wearing a robe that I later found out the cat had puked in the pocket of, and then I put my fucking hand in the puke. Yeah, it was fucked, man. It was just
gross.
What?
It was gross.
It was fucked.
It was disgusting.
Yeah.
It was embarrassing. It was disgusting.
Oh, the game.
It was pathetic.
I thought you meant me putting my hand in the puke.
It was pathetic. It was disgusting. I haven't been embarrassed to be a 49ers fan in a long, long time. Pre-Kyle Shanahan. Yeah. Even at the beginning of Shanahan, we were losing. We were putting up a fight. Losing by 3, 7 games in a row or whatever it was with Shanahan, I felt proud to be a 49ers fan because we were so bad before that. We were taking steps in the right direction. Then we got Jimmy G. I haven't been this embarrassed in a long fucking time.
It was
probably since Tom Sula or fucking Chip Kelly, whichever one of them came second. I don't even want to think about the order because I was embarrassed for 2 full seasons with those assholes. But the 2 of them is the last time I was embarrassed to be a 49er fan. And I was fucking embarrassed on Sunday. It was disgusting.
It was, the defense, you could almost just say whoever's decision it was to put number 48 out there. Like, I understand that might have been all they had or whatever their options were.
Don't care.
Right. No, you've got to come up with something better.
And even, let's say you have to run him.
Right.
Let's say you have to. Let's say you don't even have someone else to come in.
Right.
You need to have a backup plan then.
Right.
You need to put a corner over there, a safety over there with him.
You've got to do something.
You've got to have, and if you don't start that way, after the first drive, you have to realize we got to do something different. Switch them.
Right.
Fucking
something's got to happen.
Something.
When a team
I don't care what it
like
is.
the Miami Dolphins is able to capitalize like that, it's as bad as that player is, it's almost not his fault.
Yeah.
And
to
like,
me, I'm gonna go right to the blame game, and I'm gonna put this on fucking Robert Saleh.
Well,
and I just finished praising him, I know, but in the same way that anything with the offense falls on Shanahan, Robert Saleh's in charge of this fucking defense, and Shanahan isn't.
Right, but you can't blame this whole loss just on him because now we got to go to the other side of the ball.
Yep.
Let's talk about the offensive line. But that was a fucking joke.
Absolutely, but we were running the ball pretty well until we got so far behind that we had to throw nonstop. And in my opinion, if we don't play that terrible on defense, we never have to go to the throw as much as we did. We could have stayed on the ground, and Raheem Mostert could have pounded out this fucking win if we had to.
Yeah.
But for me, the offense all day, I mean, yeah, they were running okay, but there was it was not a Kyle Shanahan offense. Something was wrong. I don't know if it was quarterback play. I don't know if it was offensive line. They were.
The offensive line is terrible. I don't know what the problem is.
Right.
They're all too good to play this terrible.
It seems like the reason that the run game is able to do well is it's second level blocks. I don't know what's going on in the beginning there, but the offensive line is terrible in pass protection. That's the best way to say it.
Any yardage that Mostert got yesterday was just him. It was 100% him making space or him finding his own space. Because if you watch every run play that he got 8 or more yards on, which weren't many, it was somebody was at him at the line, and he made the guy miss to get those extra yards.
Yeah.
The line did not support the run at all. Any yardage that we got on the ground was literally just the running backs doing their bit.
He had a lot more yards after contact this week than the previous weeks. Previous weeks, He was going untouched a lot further. Now, I will say, there was still some phenomenal plays by individuals. They just weren't playing well together. I mean, that one long run, Trent Williams was still ahead of him 30 yards down the field. I don't even know how an offensive lineman is that far down the fucking field ahead of a running back. I mean, that's impressive, and he's still throwing blocks down there. But they're just not playing as a unit. And I have to go back to no OTAs and no training camp. That's got to be, and no preseason. We're playing with a different center. We're playing with a whole new. Trent Williams is new there. You know, we all thought he's an upgrade physically to Joe Staley, but Joe Staley has worked with all those guys before. I don't think it would be an upgrade.
Did anybody catch his tweets during the game?
Yeah, I heard he was.
He's like, "What the fuck is going on?" Like straight up, what the fuck? Like, I mean, hey, you summed it up very well when you said, haven't been embarrassed in a long time because. I had just a shit weekend, like I said. I fell down a flight of stairs with a 200-pound air conditioner in my arms, and I was just a miserable cunt. I just had a terrible time. I watched this game and I was embarrassed, and it just kept getting worse as the game went on.
Yep.
It just kept getting worse. And then at halftime, I asked the question, "Hey, do we think we'll see CJ?" And you had said no. And then lo and behold, what's that?
I don't know if I said no.
Yeah, that's what I was. Yeah, I was saying you. Yeah, and then lo and behold, out trots fucking CJ. What do you think? They were just trying to get something going. Do you think he was taking a beating? What do you think? What was said to that effect?
No, he couldn't plant his foot and throw.
Oh, okay.
That's where those interceptions were coming from. Those balls. Did you see those balls he was throwing?
Yeah, it was.
They were fucking ducks.
So
he had nothing.
So what's the status?
I put a lot of blame on Kyle Shanahan for this because Jimmy wasn't 100% going into this. And I know there's a lot of players who can go in and play 70% or 80% and still bring that capacity. Well, like you said, if you can't step down to make that fine, that's very important. That's like a quarterback hurting a finger. Like, you might not think it's a huge deal, but it all goes together with them being able to play that position to perfection. And if you can't make those dropbacks, or you can't step into a pass as as planned for each play, those interceptions should not be a surprise if he can't put weight on that foot like that. And then it's not even like he was in there and he was just making he was getting hit. In the fact, I do give Kyle for making that call and bringing in CJ, but at the same time, I think it's on him for even allowing Jimmy to start.
So we're under the assumption that CJ starts this week?
They're not saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's the thing to me. Jimmy starting, to me, tells you that Shanahan saw this game as a must-win.
Yeah.
Because if this was a playoff game and Jimmy was well enough to go out there, he would have gone out there. That's what this says to me. This says to me that Shanahan saw this Dolphins game as a must-win going into the stretch of teams we're playing next. That's what that says to me. Because if this was the Jets or Giants game, we would have never seen Jimmy. It would have been CJ or Nick. That's me reading between the lines.
Easy game as well.
Right.
So,
but it's the Dolphins, so it's not that stressful. So to put Jimmy out there means we really need to win this fucking game. Or maybe it's get Jimmy some live reps again before we go to the Rams. Right. And the stretch that we have coming up. Because the Rams defense is going to fucking demolish this offensive line if they don't get it figured the fuck out.
Yeah, I mean,
that D-line is going to fucking... Thank God Shanahan's got an extra half a day to plan what the fuck to do, because it's going to be ugly. And at least he knows now he can't rely on our offensive line to fucking block anyone. So he's got to come up with a different scheme.
They almost better dress all three fucking quarterbacks for this game.
Something.
Let's be fucking for real.
It's not pretty. The other person I really have an issue with in one way or another this week is Ahkello Witherspoon. If he's well enough to play 40-plus snaps, why the fuck is he not starting?
Yep.
See you fucking later. He's toast. There's no way he's on this team next year. Name a dollar amount, and I'll put it on there right now that he's not on this fucking team.
Was there an actual reason given?
Every person that is on this team that we talk about every week that's good, you can't keep him off the field. They got to keep George off the field. They got to keep Richard Sherman off the field. Look at Jimmy. He was out there. He shouldn't have been out there.
Yeah.
And Ahkello Witherspoon said, I'm not well enough to play, but if you need me in an emergency,
but I'll dress.
Get the fuck out of here. Take a fucking walk.
That pissed me off.
Take a fucking walk. And the defense got better when he was out there.
Yeah.
Like, as much as he wasn't great, it was better.
It was the defense. It was disrespectful. It was a disrespectful product to put on the field and say this is our best, because it was nobody's best.
This defensive line is not going to be last year's defensive line. You
no.
don't have Buckner, you don't have Bosa, and you don't have Ford.
Yeah.
It's just not going to be. So you need the corners to step up to give that rush an extra second to get home. It's got to be.
Another strong game from Hyder Jr. though.
Oh, he's by far defensive MVP. If it's not Armstead, it's him. It's the two of them.
Warner.
Yeah, there's no other person besides the three of them, no doubt. But
do you think that's on Saleh, the whole Ahkello issue? Like,
no, I think that's on Ahkello. Because if a guy
agree.
doesn't come to you and say, "I'm ready, I want to go in," you can't start him because his heart's not there. Now that Shanahan says that he was told Akello was going to dress just for an emergency. And by emergency, he meant if both of the backups were no good. If something happened to Brian Allen, who started, and something happened to Tim Harris, then, or not Tim Harris on the practice squad, whoever else was called up, if something happened to both of them, then Akello could be put in an emergency. And then they say Akello saw what was happening with Brian Allen and went to the coaches and said, I'm going in, let me play. But if he felt that way, why didn't he do that at the beginning? It doesn't make sense.
Listen, that guy, even in practice, that guy had to get burned through his fucking shoes. Like,
and again, I don't put what Akello did on Saleh. What I put on Saleh is not having a plan in place for if it went so south so quickly. Like, you need to, even in the middle, call a fucking timeout if we have to. I don't care if we call a timeout on defense if we're playing that bad. Call a fucking timeout and tell one of your safeties to go to that side every single play. Like, give him some fucking backup.
It was clear from the first series that they were going to pick that guy apart, and they were going to, and it was clear that it was boys amongst men with him, with that guy.
And everyone knew going in that Fitzpatrick has nothing to lose, so he's gonna fucking sling it.
He's gonna.
What does he got to lose? He's gonna lose his fucking starting job to the guy that's there to replace him.
Sling that dick all over the field. Yeah, exactly.
It's the same thing as Aaron Rodgers. You don't want to be fucking playing him right now. He wants to show everyone in the world that he's ready to keep going. And Jordan Love ain't shit.
Well,
it's fucking wild.
All right, let's officially play the blame game.
I'm done with Robert Saleh. Again, I praised him recently. I'm not saying that he should be fired or anything like that. But there's no doubt in my mind that he needed a better plan going into this if it went south the way it did.
Okay. Michael Curran.
I would say his name's Brian Allen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's for me, I 100% I understand the Saleh pick, but I just have to go with Brian Allen. He looked like he's never played a game of football. He looked so lost. Like, I don't know if he was lost in the lights or he looked so lost. I know that we picked him up off of...
Yeah, he didn't make a team. That's why he didn't make a team.
No fucking surprise.
You know, and that's to me why I put it on the coach, because he's doing the best he can. He's just not good enough.
Yeah.
That's not his, he's just not good enough. And we just don't have anybody else, so we got him out there. But that's the coach. Like, what the fuck? But I respect it.
I am going to give it the blame game. I am placing the blame on Kyle Shanahan. Defense is bad, and there's a definite, I agree with everything Rob said about Robert Saleh, but I'm not. It's been clear the offensive line has not been right for weeks now. How much longer are we going to let our quarterbacks not be protected the right way? What are we doing? Is there any end in sight, or are we just going to keep, rolling the same 5 dicks out there in the same fucking order and hoping for the best? Like, what are we doing? On top of that, what did they put up? 17 points? Unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable.
Yeah.
No points in there, 3 points in the second half, whatever it was, 7, not many.
Not pretty.
Yeah. I'm putting that one on Shans. And if you remember, I gave him the Beast of the Week a few weeks ago, so this is not me hating Kyle Shanahan.
I would personally say, I know it's very early in the season, but we better be thinking about when the draft comes up. And if we don't select, and I know sometimes draft doesn't matter at all, but if we don't notably go after any defensive backs or any offensive linemen, I'm gonna be depending on how the season goes, I'm gonna be on the train of all right, Kyle, what are you doing with this team? Because that is a position. Those 2 positions are the most dire need on this team, in my opinion.
I think by the end of the season, your offensive line is going to fall off that list. Because I think we have the talent there. They just need to get the time together. And we also have Richburg coming back at some point to play center, which frees up Garland to play some other positions too. I think Trent Williams, you're not going to get better than that. I think we're not going to draft someone over McGlinchey just yet. We're not going to draft someone to play center with Weston there. So I think once they get out there and get some more, I think you're going to see that come around. I hope, because if not, we're really fucked. If they don't come around, we're fucked.
Right, and I think
We're all Capitals fucked if they don't come around.
Yeah, we're all 3:39 a.m. fucked.
Now, cornerback, I think, is a different story, too, because I think we do need to draft someone because I don't know how many more years you're going to get out of Sherman, especially with the injuries the last couple of years. But I think what we've seen from Verrett and Mosley makes them our starters next year. If Sherman's not able to start.
I can't even say the game against Miami. I noticed Verrett making some plays that the other defenders weren't making, and it definitely was a highlight for me.
Yeah.
So
if he wasn't out there, we'd be fucking. It would have been 100-17.
And I was the first to say, even with like a couple weeks ago, I just was not on that train of being, optimistic about him, and I agree. If he was not out there, it could have even been worse somehow. And it was just.
And who would have thought years ago we'd be saying thank God for Jimmy Ward?
Unbelievable! What a solid fucking specimen.
And Tart too. Tart flies under the radar. You don't get to see the flashy
He is
plays,
unbelievable.
But it's the two of them that are keeping this thing
for sure
at all with the wheels on it.
Absolutely.
They're the ones cleaning up everybody's mess.
So before we get into the offensive and defensive beasts of the week, I want to just tell a little tidbit about dinner tonight. So as I'm posting on the Instagram right now, and as these guys know, last week was my birthday, and I had dinner with my father tonight, and his wife gave me a commemorative Joe Montana dish, like a plate from 1989, from the 88-89 Super Bowl when they beat the Bengals 20-16 when Montana led the comeback. And, she gave me this gift in a bag, and it was super nice, and it's fucking awesome. It's got a picture of Montana on it, painted. It's really, really nice. But she had to make the comment, oh yeah, I was a big fan before all that kneeling shit started. She just had to throw that in there, Oh, there it is. Did you bring it up there, Bobo? Yeah, that's the one. Oh, $45 it's going for. I mean, she has all the certificates of authenticity.
8-inch plate, is that the size, right?
Yeah, oh, that's it.
I saw another one there for a different price, though, $37 on eBay.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, nice. I got myself a nice $40, $50
got like a little
dish.
frame.
Ooh, I got to get me a frame like that. I was gonna
commemorative plate. Remember that? What a weird world.
I know.
You don't see that shit nowadays.
I was just saying, Curran, do you know about commemorative plates or no?
Why don't you get this one? You could start getting the set.
That's the one I have.
Well, that's the one. You got to get the other ones then. There's got to be a couple more here, right?
Sorry, what were you saying?
Oh, look at that one.
No, I did. Yeah, no, I know about them.
Okay.
Growing up, it was more around like when I was growing up. They don't do it at all now, I think, but it was more about making your own plates versus like I think what had happened was it went towards like teams. I don't know. I feel like is making plates and like doing stuff on the plates like a thing that's happened forever.
I've never heard of anybody making plates.
I made a plate when I was me, my sister, everyone in my family has made plates in school. And I wasn't sure if that was like something that just like came from the plates that like you have, and then people started making their own.
No, this was like in the 70s and 80s for whatever reason. Commemorative plates were a thing. I have but it goes back beyond that. I think to like Chinaware would
look
be.
Look at this one. It says 1994.
I know,
of all. Totally wrong.
Yeah, because when you Google those,
so weird.
When you Google Super Bowl XXIII, that's the 89 Super Bowl.
Well, 94 was Steve Young.
Steve Young, anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, very strange. So, I guess we'll do a beats of the week. I don't know. It's a rough one. For me on offense, it's only Raheem Mostert. It was the only bright side. It wasn't for Raheem Mostert and Jason Verrett and the safeties. We didn't do anything. Maybe Kerry Hyder. So I'm going to go with, on offense, I'm going to go with Mostert.
I was reading last week's stats for Kittle, and I was like, well, it's a no-brainer. It's got to be Kittle. I didn't realize it.
Yeah, when I was writing these stats in, Curran, I was deleting McKinnon's stats from last week, and he had 3 more rushes for like 40 less yards.
Yeah,
he's just not our lead tailback, and Mostert is.
No question. No
doubt about it.
Yeah.
I wish we could have seen him before the injuries, because he really.
Well, he may get better too. Remember Sherman's first year back. Remember Crabtree's first year back. All those times in the second year is when you really saw them break out. And I will say this about McKinnon. He's a workhorse. He'll carry the ball 25 fucking times to take an ass whooping. I'll give him that.
My beast of the week, I'm gonna have to agree. I'm gonna give it to Mozart. He is definitely our number one back, and it's a fucking shame he's not treated as such.
It's too bad we didn't give him the ball in that 4th and 1. I feel like we probably would have got it.
Ugh. There were so many things like that in this game that just made you embarrassed. They had no heart.
They converted a fake punt.
Ugh, Ugh.
I mean, I could see it coming, but at the same time, I was
hoping
game.
we would do that when it was 4th and 1.
Yeah. Why don't
what
we
the
ever?
fuck?
We don't. I will say through Kyle Shanahan's tenure, we'll go for it on 4th down here and there. We'll go for 2-point conversions here and there, and not that these work every single time. But when was the last time we had a fake punt, other than the Saints game?
Right.
But when have we? I feel like it's rare. Any plays like that are rarely used.
Did y'all see the end of that Saints game?
I didn't.
Yes.
I didn't see it.
First of all, let's talk. Can we talk for 1 second before we do the defensive beast of the week about Tyrod Taylor?
What happened?
He got fucked more than anyone's ever gotten fucked.
I don't know.
Ever.
Tell me.
Yes.
I've literally hid from the NFL.
So Tyrod Taylor is the starting quarterback for the San Diego Chargers.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
They have a
He's
rookie.
been around the league a little bit.
Yeah, I know who he is.
They have a rookie.
Yeah.
Herbert is his name. Josh Herbert, I think. Something Herbert.
Justin Herbert.
Okay.
And so as a veteran, Tyrod Taylor is worried about that, obviously.
Okay.
And he is injured. His ribs are sore.
Okay.
So he says, give me a shot. I'm playing this fucking game.
Mm-hmm.
The doctor punctures his lung on the sidelines.
Oh, right.
Right?
Yeah.
He gets rushed to the hospital.
Yeah.
Because of the doctor, because he wants to play, the rookie comes in and fucking sets the world on fire.
Of course.
Lights out.
So Tyrod Taylor's better, and they say,
sorry, guy.
Sorry about your luck.
Yeah.
And Herbert starts and almost beats the fucking Saints. And if it wasn't for their fucking field goal kicker shanking it off the fucking upright at the end of the game,
he would have beat the Saints.
He would have beat the Saints.
Almost beat the Buccaneers.
Yep.
Sucks for you, kid. Hey,
Taylor got
Brady.
fucked.
Well, speaking of that, then we got to give our hats off to Alex Smith because he played in an NFL game
and he got his ass
Aaron Donald almost broke his other leg
with a deformed ass leg.
Kicked.
He's out of his fucking mind. I mean,
I wonder if they'll name him the starter now.
He got sacked 6 times.
Oh my god!
They weren't.
Welcome back.
He came in, I think, around the 3rd quarter or end of second.
Yeah, end of the second half.
That is rough.
Yeah, just being named, just dressing finally was huge, and then before halftime, he's already in the game. Holy shit!
Wow, that's scary. That's what the Niners are up against this week. Yikes!
Yep, and that's one of. I think it was Rob or Joe. One of you guys said something about how he's just one hit away. Somebody is one hit away from him starting again, and it happened, and it just sucks that he's on that team. So
yeah, it's wild. It's very wild. I'll tell you what, it was emotional to see his family cheering for him and him back out there. I mean, he was like seconds away from having his leg amputated.
Yep.
That's fucking wild. Good for him. Always been a nice guy. He didn't do shit for us, but he's always been a nice guy.
Yeah, nice enough guy. I always liked him. I hated
as a person.
I hated him as a quarterback.
Yeah.
But when I started to care, actually like him as a person, was when there was a missing girl in San Francisco area, and him and his wife just showed up. They were doing one of the chains of people where you walk through the forest, and he just showed up. Nobody asked him. There was no press, and somebody else reported on it. Yo, fucking Alex Smith was next to me. So that's when I always was like, all right,
always a class act, always a good looking dude.
Yeah.
You know where he would have thrived? He would have thrived with Shanahan.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. Accuracy's there. He's a dink and dunker. He's not a big down the field thrower.
He became quick in his later years.
Yeah, he was smart.
Would have had a tough time before. I don't know how he would have been in the early years because he definitely needed a couple years to mature before he was ready in the NFL.
Yeah, if Shanahan had him the whole time though to develop
him and
make him something
for sure.
And of course, after this week, the whispers of Kirk Cousins are back.
Oh,
I don't know if you guys have heard it.
Yep.
because the contract we have an out. We have an out in the contract.
Dude, I will say this: if Kirk Cousins becomes a 49er, I'll eat my words someday if I have to. I am off the Shanahan train.
Will you drink? Will you drink your girlfriend's pee?
I'm not making a bet like that. That's Joey I. That's only up to Joey I. I'll do something, but I no, because the thing that you know why I won't make a bet is because I bet that Kyle Shanahan will find a way to sign him, and it makes me so angry because the dude is trash. Well, I don't think he would be good. I don't think he would be good on the Shanahan offense either.
No offense, Kern, but I'm going to go with Kyle Shanahan's quarterback evaluation over Mike Kern. So I'm going to stay with the 49ers, and I'm going to stay with Kyle Shanahan, especially because him and his dad they were there when they drafted him, and who knows how he would have developed if it wasn't for the fucking owner wanting RG3, which is a joke.
I do agree with that. I've been watching him the past.
I'm not a
2
fan.
years
Don't get me wrong.
Minnesota. I've also heard talks about Matt Ryan.
Oh,
yeah. I'm not a big fan of either. But again, in Shanahan, I trust. I think Shanahan really does have it. Think that Jimmy's better than them, and just needs to get it straightened out.
Yeah, I think if Kirk Cousins, if they wanted him, they'd have him. Is the way I feel about it. But what do I know?
Well, we got such an awkward pick with Bill Belichick calls you up on the phone and says, "Hey, Jimmy G for a second round pick." What
but they could have traded him. Like, there's options if they really wanted out on that. There's teams that would give up a first round pick for Jimmy Garoppolo.
Right, but when he comes in though, and then wins 6 straight at the end of the season, it's kind of like, oh man, we might want this guy to see what he turns out to be. And I've loved Jimmy all the way, but I think it's harder. Go ahead.
I'm also never out on a quarterback that's played in a fucking Super Bowl. Everybody in the league is quick to jump off a fucking bandwagon. Kaepernick played in a fucking Super Bowl, and we're not in that Super Bowl without him. I don't give a fuck. Because if it wasn't for Kaepernick, he doesn't run for 200 fucking yards against the Packers to get us to the next round of the playoffs, to get us close to the Super Bowl. So I don't want to hear it from anyone that talks about Kaepernick didn't have the skills. He got us to that fucking Super Bowl. And it wasn't just the defense. The defense played great that year. But the defense didn't run for 200 fucking yards against the Packers.
Kaepernick played his part. And
the same thing with Jimmy G last year. Now, in the playoffs, he took a lot of heat for not throwing the ball, which is a joke because when you're running the ball for fucking 10,000 yards a game, you're not going to – it doesn't make any sense to throw the ball unless your running backs start fumbling. It really is a joke to me. And if it wasn't for Jimmy G, we don't win that fucking Saints game.
No way.
I mean, he fucking outdueled Drew Brees in the New Orleans. Like, get the fuck out of here if you think he doesn't have it in him. He's got it in him. Yeah. We just got to find out how to get it out of him consistently.
Every week.
We see it every time he throws a pick. Usually the next drive is fucking lights out. Now, this time he threw a pick and the next drive was another pick. That's when we knew it was time to fucking pull him.
That's when you know you're in trouble.
Usually after a pick, he's Tom Brady.
Yep.
Curran, your beast of the week, offensive? Did you give it?
Mostert. Okay. I'll just say that.
No worries. Bobo, defensive?
I'm going to go with Steady Freddy. I like that pass breakup in the end zone from a fucking middle linebacker in coverage. And when he made that pass breakup, where he came from to make it was a long ways away.
Yeah, he had another play where he came like middle of the field to the sideline. That was wheels. Phenomenal. Yeah,
he's sideline to sideline for sure.
I am going to give it to Kerry Hyder Jr. He had a sack, another sack. He leads the team with sacks with 3.5, I believe. Had a tackle for a loss, and I don't know how many tackles he had, but he had a couple, and that makes me happy. I liked him. He plays good. He's good.
He's good boy.
Good boy. Karan?
I'm gonna have to go with my boy again. I felt like even in this pathetic game, I think he brought the energy. It was like he could have been down 60 points. I think Alexander would have brought every bit of energy he had.
That's your baby boy.
You're on the Quan train, huh?
Yeah. He had this one play where a running back kind of beat out to the side, and it was him and Alexander just grabbed him by his legs and drove him down in the ground in the hole. And I think it was I love that play, and I really root for him. I don't think he's the best linebacker in the league, but I think he's a very special piece to this team. He's my beast of the week.
That Kerry Hyder sack.
Yes.
The swipe on Fitzpatrick's feet.
Yeah.
That was tight.
Chasing him. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, to
that
get
nice.
just to hit his foot into his other foot and make him trip. That was good.
Yeah, that was good. So we should say the things, right?
Yeah, all the things.
Well, what we're gonna say first is
thing them up.
So we'll tease it. Listen to episode 2 this week for the PP preview. And that's all we're gonna say. If you know about the PP and you're here for that,
that'd be the PPP preview.
You listen to the next episode, and Daddy's going to drop some knowledge there. But you can email us at goldbloodedpodcast@gmail.com. We will read it on air, or you can tell us how cool we are, or whatever. What we're going to say is we have a Patreon account, and most people might say, well, you've done nothing with it up to this point, but we're going to tell you this.
One day we will.
No, the PP preview has the Patreon incorporated, so there might be 4 P's involved there, so just get ready.
The Patreon PP preview?
Yeah, that's right, Poppy. Poppy as well. Oh my God, there's P everywhere. So that's www.patreon.com/goldbloodedpodcast. There is an Instagram. You could see my plates on there. You could also see dildos I found in my attic. Michael Curran also makes great posts about your football
chiropractic tools.
Yeah, I showed them to my father. It made him feel weird in the pants. I could tell. That is Gold Blooded Podcast, one word on the Instagram. Oh, and also everybody, this, as every motherfucking episode, is brought to you by the one and only Lucky_Rose_Tattoo in Middlebury, Connecticut. That is their Instagram handle. They are the sponsor. You will go there when you're in Middlebury, Connecticut, and you'll get fucking tattooed, and you'll be happy. Anything else, Papa?
That's it.
There's it. Curran, you got anything?
Nope.
Okay. Keep your heads up, 49er fans.
Tune in for the PPPP preview.
That's right. It's not over yet. The season ain't over yet, fuckhead sticks. Bye-bye.